So our first word today is bigotry. Bigotry, which kind of goes hand in hand with racism. Like a lot of people actually confuse the two words and think they just use them the same way. Like a racist person is a bigot. But actually it has a little different meaning. Bigotry is like you cannot accept other people's opinions or ideologies. So basically you can't accept other people's cultures and the way they do things. So in the video, Donald Trump is often criticized for being kind of a bigot because he's very stubborn and doesn't like immigration or anything like that. He's definitely a bigot, like very small-minded kind of person, and they cannot understand other people's opinions or beliefs like that, and will not accept them like that. So that is kind of like bigotry. It's a little different than racism, but it's kind of similar, used in the same way. Yes, if you stereotype and then, but also don't accept that stereotype. Like, if you think of other groups as a stereotype and then you just cannot accept them, then that's kind of bigotry. Like, you will not agree with them or understand their opinions. So yeah, a lot of older people might be kind of have this problem. They're very stubborn, right? Like, I think everyone has like the uncle or someone at the holidays who says something and makes everyone uncomfortable because of their bigotry. Okay, the next word is misogyny. Misogyny. And this is kind of hatred towards women. If you are misogynistic, you have misogyny, and that means you treat women as lower than you or inferior, and you kind of have the prejudice against women. I think almost all countries have this problem of misogyny, and especially in the US, they say that maybe Hillary Clinton did not win because she's a woman and people could not accept that. That's kind of misogyny, right? They don't want the woman leader, so that's a problem. The pay gap between men and women is also misogyny, right? That's a kind of prejudice against women. They get paid less money than men in the workplace. Number 3 is populist. Populist is like referring to populism. Now, populism is like appealing to like the public, like everyone, right? The most basic people in the public is like populism. So a leader who kind of just like says things to make everyone really happy, that's kind of a populist because he's just trying to make everyone like him, and that is populism. Maybe a candidate for president says, always they say something like, we're going to make taxes lower, and we're going to make jobs for middle class, and blah, blah, blah. And that is populism. Everyone likes that, right? It sounds good to everyone. Even you don't need to think deeper about his policy. So that's kind of populism. And Donald Trump kind of tapped into populism by just speaking like to the very simple people, simple thinking. So he's kind of a populist leader now. And the next word is the glass ceiling, which is kind of a barrier or limit that you can't see, but it exists for especially women and minorities. Usually it's the case of women and minorities. They reach a point in their company or in their career and they can't go higher. And that's called kind of like the glass ceiling. And they can't go higher because, of their It could be because of their race or because of their gender that's keeping them back. So there's kind of this like racism, institutional racism, where like the institutions in a country hold certain people back, but it's invisible. You can't see it. So it's called like the glass ceiling. So it's a really dangerous thing, right? It's a really awful thing in institutions and things. It stops your advancement in your career. Number 5, defy gravity. This is kind of to do something very bold, and almost do something that's impossible, right? Gravity is the force that's pushing us down all the time. So when you defy that, you're facing like against nature, the laws of nature, and you're doing the impossible. So, in the video, I think they used this idiom when they show the space astronauts going into space. It's fitting because astronauts can defy gravity when they go to space. I mean, rocket ships, kind of airplanes, these things defy gravity. But also this idiom can be used for any human. If you do something really almost impossible, amazing, you say, wow, you really defied gravity. Like, she's defying gravity. And the last word is to clench, which is to literally clench something is to hold on to it very tightly, firmly. But I think in the video they use it as the sports term. There's a team that clenches championship. So if a baseball team like strongly wins a championship, World Series or game or something, we say they clenched that championship. They grabbed onto it tightly and held onto it to win. So, any questions then about this vocabulary?
I have a question about populism.
Sure.
So populism refers a person who is following populism. So my question is adjective or a noun?
It can be both. A populist leader is like, you could say he's a populist as a noun, or he's a populist leader as an adjective to describe him. So both ways are fine. Okay, if there are no